Hi, my name is NILOFER. I am 29 years old next month. I am part Indian, part Saudi Arabian.
And coming to St. Lucia, you were coming from what country?
I was coming from Saudi Arabia.
And you started with basic science or you transferred into clinical?
Oh, I started all the way from pre-medicine. Yes.
Okay, so what made you choose AIMU?
I thought that the Caribbean Medical School would be an easy entry to the U.S. medical system because we have the same curriculum, the same exams, the same format and all of that. And I got a scholarship to study at AIMU, so that school stood out for me, and the rest was easy. Everything just fell in place. But the two main factors were it was a Caribbean school, and I got a scholarship to study here, so yeah.
And how was your overall academic experience?
It was good. I think that it doesn't matter really which school you come from, that's what I believe in. I think it's really about your initiative and your efforts. And you go to one of the best schools like St. George's or AIMU, it's one and the same thing eventually, meaning you have to give the same effort, the same time to do your exams well and all of that. At AIMU, the advantage was a small class size helped a lot for me to get more individualized learning and teaching. And I think once you establish that rapport with the professor, they're really invested in you one-to-one to help in your learning and in your development, which you may not see at bigger schools. So that was the cutting edge, yeah.
How would you describe your transition from basic science to clinical?
It was rough. It was, I think, more emotional. I think just getting used to the idea of patients dying every day and seeing a patient today and not seeing a patient tomorrow, that was one. The other thing was about actually connecting the dots to make all the basic sciences aspects come together in medicine and actually applying it by the bedside. There's something very quick about it. You have to think on your feet. So it was intimidating in the beginning, but as I started to get used to the pace of it, to the frenzy about it, it was much more easier to go with the flow and just think and not be afraid to speak up. Yeah.
Where did you do your clinical?
Partly in St. Lucia and partly in the US, and 2 rotations in India as well.
How were your options? Were they to your favor?
Sorry, can you repeat that? Clinical options? Well, I could choose which side, but as I mentioned, my mother died in my last year. That was a big reason for me to move east side to be relatively closer to Saudi Arabia where my father was. He was grieving. So I moved to India for a few months to do some rotations there. And as my family stabilized, I came back to the west and continued the rest in the US. And yeah, so that's how so because of that reason, it's really everywhere. But I'm looking back, I'm very happy about the exposure I got because I got to move to different regions and different countries and be able to see how medicine is practiced in those places. Yeah.
Very unfortunate situation. How did AIMU help you get through?
A lot. I would be very, oh my gosh, AIMU was like a family to me, and for me, I think they took me as their daughter in a way. So they knew my mother, for example, so when they heard about my mother, they were like, it was more of a personal relationship, and they were like, we don't want your studies to stop, so just keep studying. We'll think about finances and all of that. We'll come up with a plan and all of that later. And that sort of a provision helped me a lot to be where I am today, to be finally able to graduate. And I think if I went to one of the commercial schools, I wouldn't have been able to get that sort of understanding, the loss of a parent and how that changes you financially, emotionally, and in every sense of the word. So in my darkest hour, AIMU supported me and they were there for me, and that helps a lot, yes.
So what are your future plans?
I am currently working at the UN in Washington, D.C. I've been with the UN for about 3 years now. I have a master's in health policy as well from Europe. So I'm essentially between the chasm of medicine and health policy. And while I work, I'm also doing my clinical rotation, a few more to get more experience in the US. And my plan is to take the USMLE exams in less than 6 months' time and apply for residency next year. We'll see about that. Yes, thank you.